Have you ever felt like no matter what you change in your life, you keep ending up in the same place? You change jobs, you change routines, you try new strategies, and for a while, it feels different. It feels like something's shifting. Like maybe this time it's going to be different, but then slowly the same patterns, they start to come back, they start to emerge, and maybe not in always the same exact way, but close enough to where you can recognize it. And at some point you start to wonder, why does this keep happening? Why am I not getting the results that I'm working so hard to try to get? Because it's not that you're not trying. Of course you are. We're all trying our best, but you're putting in effort, you're making changes, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and yet the results don't seem to match all that hard effort. Well, there's a gap between what you're doing and what keeps showing up in your life. I went through this myself, and at times I still go through this. And for a long time, I thought I just needed a better strategy, a better system, a better approach. But what I eventually realized changed how I understand pretty much all of this. Believe it or not, your life isn't created by your thoughts. It's actually created by the level of consciousness producing them. Most of us try to change our lives by changing what's visible, what we can see, what we can touch. That means our job, the routine and the habits we have, which is all good stuff. But it's the external situation. And again, sometimes that does create temporary change. But if we stay at that level, the results tend to repeat themselves. And that's because, again, our thoughts, they don't come from nowhere. They're arising from a deeper level. And it's not that we need to force that level to change. It's that we haven't learned how to basically access it. And most of the time we're operating on the surface level of the mind. So that means that you and I are reacting, we're thinking, we're trying to adjust what's already appeared in 3D reality, trying to fix things. What we're, basically trying to fix things or what we're trying to experience. But underneath that, there's a deeper field of awareness, a deeper source, if you will, where those thoughts are actually bubbling up and coming from. And when we begin to access that level, something starts to shift. The mind, it settles and it starts to become quieter. And the system, the nervous system that is, it becomes more settled. And as that happens, the noise that was driving those same patterns, it starts to dissolve. Not because we're forcing change, but because we're going deeper than the level the problem is appearing on. And so even if you change your environment, if you're still operating from the same surface level, the same patterns, they can show up in your life. And we're not just recreating our life by accident, we're recreating it from the level we're actually operating on. And this is where things get interesting, and this is where things begin to open up, because now the question isn't, what do I need to change out there? It becomes, how do I access what's underneath all of this? How do I move from the surface to the source? And so I'll end this really quick video with a question and asking basically, where in your life are you trying to change the outcome without going deeper than where it was actually created? That's what we're going to explore here on this channel, how change actually begins to happen when you move beyond the surface level of the thinking mind.